Alright, I told you this would go into a part two. Very wide subject, now barely scratched the surface. Isn't it great? Alright, lots and lots of research. Trust me, you're gonna need it. And experience. Experience. Okay, so getting into part two. See, I was on the little girl that, that was stuck in a schoolhouse, okay? The way that they released her was, okay, the teacher told her that she couldn't go to heaven until she did, or until she learned her ABCs, okay? Yeah, a nice teacher, isn't it? Okay, but yeah, she died suddenly. I forget from what, it's just a good story, it's a good example. But, um, so, they basically taught her ABCs, and then the spirit just moved on. So it was kind of sad that she was stuck there for 100 plus years. I mean, really, um, because of that, something like that. But it happens, and it happens a lot more often than what you would like to admit. Um, so there's that, and then there's of course releasing him. Then there's the last one, which I was going to get on, was releasing him from the world. And believe me, unless you're really skilled with a lot of energy work, you do not want to be trying this. Do not try this at home. It's basically okay, you open up a one-way doorway to their side, because if you open up a two-way, they might just call back their friends, and saying, here's the option. You can leave if you want, or you cannot. Or there's sometimes you can toss them in. Um, But trust me, I don't recommend that. If you mess up, once again, they will come after you. It's better to give them the willing, and it's better not to treat them as lesser. Because believe me, if it's a ghost especially, they were you. They were just like you. They were a human being just like you, and they still are. Um, Ghosts, completely different point of view. Why are they different? What's the difference between a ghost and me? Okay. Um, how are they different? Really, the point of views and the mindsets are completely different. Okay, time to them is way less. Okay, everything to them is all the same. They don't have a timeline. They don't have a start and a finish. Their start was when they became ghosts. Or and many times they don't necessarily have as much memory. Sometimes they remember more. It all depends. It all depends on the specific person, the entity, the whatever that is being affected. Um, a lot of times, they're there. They exist entirely in a different state, in different presence, in completely different plane and idea. Many times the physical to them is not the same. Like, they can go through walls. Great, hunky dory. But many times the physical is very much present to them. It's kind of like, you ever seen those football games where they have like the big giant paper? You ever gone through on them? I'm not a football player, by the way. Do not call me a football player. Anyway, yeah, like with the stadiums and these sport things, and they go through like paper. It's kind of like that, except a little bit thicker, I guess you could say. And they can just go through it. And it's all about energy manifestation, energy transfer. When they're bind to something physical, part of them becomes physical at the same time. They play by our rules to a point, but then they don't. It's kind of a weird concept. And it's something that if you really think about for too long, it'll make your brain hurt. And I've thought about quite a bit. So understanding it is entirely possible, but it just takes a little bit. It takes a while. Yeah. So I'm tired. Um, Ghosts, often you want to do your research. Research who they were, why they're there, and figure out all those little nitty details. If you do that, trust me, it makes it a lot easier. Um, Dealing with a ghost in your home. Okay, don't always assume they're bad. Don't always look at them negatively. Quite often you get on just fine with ghosts. I mean, like, I've lived in a house where you've had these issues, you've had the ghost problems, the everything, you know. What you do is you find a way to live comfortably with them, within their own bounds and with their own means. Just because you bought the house doesn't mean you own it. A lot of times, truthfully, if you're the ghost, imagine someone just suddenly moving into your house, you're like, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm doing just fine now they're in my house. Yeah, it's not exactly like you want to be messing up your walls or your decorations or anything. You don't want them to be doing any of that. No, that's not good. So that's a lot of times what piss them off. Now, the best way that you deal with them is to give them their space, give your space, and if you do that, you usually can live very comfortably. You know, as soon as you notice them, just give them their space, they'll give you your space. It's a thing of comfort. They comfort them, they make it more comfortable for you. Because believe me, a spirit, especially if you don't have experience and you don't know how to deal with them, you don't know the tools, you don't have the means to deal with them, they can make your life a living hell. Don't let them do that. Make sure that you know what you're doing. Make sure that you do the research and also see if you can live peacefully with them. And if it so becomes a really bad problem and you need to deal with them, and you've tried everything that's nice, I mean, don't automatically go out and burn sage. Trust me. If it doesn't work, they will be mad at you. You know, um, should everything you tried doesn't work, call an expert. Do not be afraid to call an expert because an expert will get you what you need and will get whatever it is out if it's needed. Make sure that they are an expert, that they aren't just some idiot. Many times priests can don't do the right job, and they just make things worse, way worse, way worse. Okay, make sure that you know what they're doing. They come in and they have the equipment, they have the knowledge, and they have the natural potential to do whatever needs to be done. If they're claiming to be a psychic, ask them questions, ask them things. You know, First of all, figure out what kind they are. If they're saying that they can see it, okay, do the research on what the house is, figure out what it is, and then ask them questions. Don't ask them too specific questions, just ask them questions in general. Or they'll start telling you stuff. Because that will confirm whether or not they are telling the truth. You know. Let's see, and then there's some that just don't, like, they don't see, but they feel. Like, for me, I feel things. I'm not good. I won't claim to be a psychic, Ralph. That, trust me, do not claim me there. But I can do things, and if I need to, I do them. No, I'm not gonna say I'm a psychic. I'm not gonna say I can walk into a room and go, "Oh, that spirit's in the corner there." Usually, I can at least tell whether or not they're in a corner. But at least I can usually tell what they're in a corner or not. But I'm not gonna be able to sit down and say hi and have a little chat with them. I can't exactly do that. I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not. I can feel things, but I'm not exactly like, oh, I can touch a wall, and now I know exactly what happened when this person died. I'm not that good, but I do know a little bit of things. And usually, if you're interested in becoming and actually knowing things, you can develop these skills. I haven't developed these specific skills because I haven't had as much of a need to. Because usually when something bugs me, I say, hey, what's up? Leave me alone, please. Go somewhere else or get out. And if they don't get out, I know how to deal with them. There are many ways to deal with them, many materials. Do your research, know what you're doing, know what you're getting into. If you're wanting to develop these skills, as soon as you start developing them, things are going to recognize you. They're going to see you for who and what you are. And this is about ready to wrap up the video, which is good because now I gotta catch the phone. So anyway, thanks guys. Bye.